Hello and welcome to Let Me Explain Why This Isn't Rust. I'm going to start off by saying with the most recent update of Rust, I've been having a lot of issues with the game stuttering, freezing and a massive FPS drop. I don't know why I've let the devs know that this is the case, and I'm struggling to do any recording on it because I'm actually struggling to get in and out of buildings safely. So this is just going to be me playing some Grav and explaining a little bit about the game to you. So you're going to notice with Grav a few things the first time you play it. First of all, you're going to notice the speed at which it loads is much more efficient. You're going to notice that the game looks a lot nicer. Well, it does to me at least. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, sci-fi, I know, but it definitely feels like a nicer game, and it definitely feels more complete than Rust. Rust is... it's for some reason in the last 6 months, Rust has just gone backwards. They've taken Rust and they've kind of said to themselves, how can we improve it? And someone laughed and said, how can we destroy it? Not to say the new patch isn't great, it's just really fucking stupid to implement the new patch in Rust, in my personal opinion, at this point in time, because it's not complete. They're adding in a fuck ton of new rad towns without any form of texturing, and even though there are no textures in them, for some reason it's causing me to drop down to about 14 frames a second. So as it's dropping me down to 14 frames a second without recording, it's not worth me trying to record. And I know a lot of you come here to watch Rust videos, and I'm sorry, this is not a Rust video, and until the issue is resolved with Rust being a bit laggy and shit, then I'm not going to be doing the Rust guides for the new build of Rust that I promised. I do, however, have one more Rust PvP video to upload, which is about a week and a half old at this stage. I am aiming to get that up, hopefully at the same time as this video. I might need to borrow someone's internet connection for that because, well, this is an 18-minute video, I think, or a 19-minute video. I don't know. But either way, you know, it's gonna take some uploading on my potato internet. Oh, that potato. So this video is not even going to be a guide, it's going to be... I don't really know what it's going to be. It's probably going to just be a very vague introduction to Grav. And I'll try not to complain too much about the shit going down in Rust. I want to start off by talking about the leveling system. With any RPG, a leveling system is kind of integral, and it's the first time I've played one sort of in a open world, sandboxy, survival online game. I'm sure there are other games out there, but Grav is, I think, the only one I actually own which implements that as a feature for the survival game, which has a leveling feature. And I like it. I do. I can see why it's in the game, but it doesn't work when it comes to PvP. Now that's because the damage is scaled with your level. So at level 15 you're going to want to look to kill level 16, 17 and 18 creatures to maximize the XP drop. Anything that's your level, the ratio is 1:1 for the damage you should be doing with that weapon and that proficiency with that weapon. As it scales up in level, you deal less damage, as you would expect. As it scales down in level, you deal more damage, but as a result receive less XP. Again, as you would expect. However, the problem is that this is carried over into PvP. So there's nothing to prevent another player that's level 30 simply running along into the spawning zones and just murdering all the level 5s. It's not really that great. I have to be honest, it's not that great. That being said, every other aspect of this game is superior on every level to Rust. The crafting system, the weapons system, the base building system. Here in this particular clip you can see me stood inside a bubble. This bubble is protecting me from the heat on the outside. It lets me shoot out but nothing shoot in. Doesn't mean you can't walk through it even if you are hostile, but it's a it's a shield bubble. It does what it says on the tin. You can craft machinery to make your life a lot easier when harvesting for materials. Harvesting for wood. Now that's my favourite thing about this game. I have to be honest, I know it's going to sound really dull and very boring and very British of me, but harvesting for wood. Now, when it comes to Rust, harvesting wood is the most tedious, most mind-numbing, most boring fucking job in the game. But you need to do it. And with this game, it is no different. You use the wood inside the generators, which power your base items. You use it as basic fuel for your jetpack and for your monocycle, which you have probably already seen me just mess around on during my ranting. But you get this thing called a multi-tool. And because there's no durability loss in this game, you haven't got to worry about crafting a new one every 2 fucking minutes. Now the multi-tool allows you to run up to either ore, crystal, fossil or wood. Not element X, you need a harvester for those. Those little blue things you saw me deploy. And it basically acts like a giant vacuum cleaner. And it allows you to suck up all of the resource in that area. And when you unlock other abilities such as the Prospector's strip mining ability, you don't even need to do that. You just simply hit the button Q and it sucks all of the available resource that your multi-tool would be able to pick up from a radius around you, and it just sticks it straight in your inventory. You also get pets to make this a little bit easier. You can get harvesting pets which will give you a bonus per item harvest. So every other 1 wood you get 1 bonus wood, and the more element X, which is the only element you cannot harvest with a multi-tool, which is why you need the harvester, the more element X you put into, say, pet duration or number of pets, will then obviously increase the amount of resources you can gather. So now you can see me dancing around the fire to regenerate my stamina and health. You have to place a fire to do that and then hit the actual dance button. It also plays some pretty cool music in the background while you're doing it, and it's kind of like having a daft dancing competition with your friends once you're really pissed drunk. So that's a nice little feature that's added to the game. You don't always need to get medipacks to get your health back. But now what I'm going to do is discuss the PvE event. Now, Rust recently released an update which brought a massive PvE event to the world once every, I think it was 3 or 4 cycles. No, it was 3 cycles. Once every 3 cycles there would be a helicopter spawn. It would just randomly attack everyone. However, Grav done this first. They didn't do it with a helicopter. What they did is every so many days on a planet, in this instance every 7 days on this planet, it will spawn hordes after hordes after hordes of AIs around you of a level which is useful for you to grind at. So what I've done here is I've waited around outside that little tiny wooden hut I constructed until they started spawning, and they just continuously spawn one after another as you run, and they will spawn close to the player and close to said player's level. So it enables for maximization of your level. You know, you can grind these fuckers out and get a good leveling out of them. As you just see there, I've leveled up. Now you'll notice I've got 2 little pets on the right and 2 little pets on the left. Those are those little annoying bugs that keep flying into the screen with the little lights on. Those are actually XP boosting pets. So like I said earlier about the pets that boost your resource gathering, you get other pets that do different things as well. You get pets that increase your speed, pets that increase your life regeneration, pets that increase your defense, pets that increase your offense, and pets that increase your XP. Now, what I've done is I've spawned the maximum amount of pets I'm allowed, which is 4, and I've made all of them bonus XP pets, because I've already got a high proficiency with the assault rifle, and because everything is going to spawn to my pilot rank, not my overall rank. You'll see in the bottom right hand corner above my taskbar, it'll say pilot rank and then rank. Now, your overall rank is the collection of all of your player levels. So like, I have a level X hunter, a level Y prospector, a level fucking Z astronaut, you know. It'll add all of those up and that will give you your overall level. That is not what is taken into consideration when dealing damage to either another player or to another creature. What is taken into consideration is your active rank, which in this case is my pilot rank, which is the first set of levels, which I believe ends up being about rank 10 or 11 by the time this clip is over. So I've kind of like helped myself a lot here by getting the most resilient armor out of my inventory, which is a high level armor, equipping it and equipping my high level assault rifle with as much ammunition as possible. Because I have a high proficiency with my assault rifle, I can deal more damage for that level against another level. Say if I was just a standard level 15 or a standard level 10 fighting standard level 10 enemies, I'd probably be dealing, you know, maybe 10 damage points less. So once you're in a PvE instance like this, where wave upon wave of enemies are spawning at you, 10 damage makes a lot of difference to your ammunition count and to how quickly you can kill them, which means more XP. And as I said, with the XP bots, you can level up a lot faster. You'll see those little tiny cubes on the ground. Those are the loot satchels. You can click on them at any point and you can get the loot out of them. I don't really bother so much with this planet because obviously having a level, I think I've got like a level 40 something, they're not going to drop anything that I'm actually going to need. They might drop pistol ammunition or maybe shotgun ammunition, but to be perfectly honest, my proficiency is the highest with the assault rifle, so I'm just going to use that, and I don't think those creatures are high enough level to drop the assault rifle. So that's why I'm not stopping. Also why I'm not stopping is because if I stopped to try and open one of those loot boxes, about 10 birds would spawn where I'm stood, and then they would just fucking peck my eyes out, and that's not fun. Because that's happened to me on a number of occasions, and all you have to do really is just keep moving. But even then, you know, you can't control where they spawn. They will spawn in a radius around a player. And you can also use it to sort of troll other players. You know, if you're like level 50 and you see a level 10 and it's say a bug or a bird spawn attack, the in-game weekly attack, just go running up to them. Don't attack them, just run up to them. Let the high level creatures deal with it, because they're only going to be able to deal like 1 damage to them, and they're going to basically one-hit them. So as you can see here, I've now just got my pilot to rank 10, and that's now enabled me to use a new Q ability, but I'm still using the strip mining ability because that to me is the best one to use. I can use that while I'm running and gunning, and I can just gather loads of extra resource without actually having to constantly switch between my resource gathering multi-tool and my assault rifle. The only obvious problem is that the strip mining ability does have cooldown. So I know I've not really spoken much about the crafting system in this game. As I said, this isn't really going to be much of a guide video. It's literally just this is a game that is not Rust. Yes, I do play other games that are not Rust. It's fucking shocking, I know. Christ. I think when my wife saw me play this, I think she nearly had a fucking heart attack. Swiftly moving on, anyway, I'm going to show you a bit more of some of the areas. So far you've seen a molten planet, and you've seen the area surrounding my base at a home planet. This is still on the home planet. You can tell what planet is in the bottom right hand corner, because you get your home planet, you then get 3 moons, 3 low planets, 3 medium planets, 3 high planets. I think it's like 13 planets in total that you can visit, and each of them has their own level requirements, their own set of environmental hazards, which is why you get different types of armour. The armour I'm wearing here is a frost resistant armour, despite the fact I'm now flying on a iceberg. That's not actually cold enough to warrant the need for them, but as I said earlier, this is the most resilient armour I have. So what I'm doing here now is I am going into a dungeon when the game catches up. There we go. Yes, I'm going into a dungeon because the bird spawn attack is over, and I want to get as much use out of these XP droids before they disappear. And unlike Rust, this does have a dungeon system, and I do a couple of things when I do a dungeon. I do what's known as the right hand rule, and I do either a gathering run or I do an XP run. Now that red box in front of me will continuously spawn enemies until I've killed all the enemies it can spawn, and it will then allow me to click on it. I can click on it beforehand, but you know, you'll take some damage while you stand there for a second, looking like a complete melon. Those red crates are giant loot crates. They give you a lot of the rarer resource, some basic resource, and they give you some element X as well. All of the pets are on a timer, so once you've deployed them, you've only got so long before they disappear. If you die, obviously they disappear anyway. They're not too expensive to craft. They are, however, a bit tricky to craft because some of them require you to have access to snow or fire zones in order for you to get the basic materials for them. But once you've got to those zones, generally those materials are quite abundant, because they will replace another type of resource in that area, and they will increase the rate at which they spawn in the open world for you to harvest. So when I'm in a dungeon, anyway, back to being in the dungeon, I follow what's known as the right hand rule. So I will run along the right hand wall until I get to an entrance. I will then clear the room, clear the area around that entrance, then I will go down the right hand wall through that entrance into the next room, and so on and so forth. And this means I'm constantly turning right, so eventually, you know, you will end up back where you start. This also allows me, you know, the maximum opportunity, especially in an XP run like this, to clear as many creatures as possible, as quickly as possible, and get as much XP as possible. It's also useful when you're going in teams of 2 or 3 into larger dungeons, and as you can see there, you can't always predict the spawns of those enemies. They will spawn directly behind you and trap you and stuff like that. There's nothing I could have done about that. I didn't die, luckily. Don't know how I got out of that one. I think I got out of that one by screaming at the monitor, fuck, 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 and smashing the spacebar. But anyway, this was Grav, and it wasn't Rust. Maybe I'll do some more videos on Grav, maybe I won't. If you are a regular viewer, please comment, let me know if you want to see any more Grav videos, and I will explore the realms of crafting, if that is the case, in the next video, or whatever you guys want to see.